Hi, my name is Dr. Erika Rodriguez. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the postdoctoral fellow in public humanities at the University of Maine at Farmington and the assistant director of the New Commons Project. Your skill sets in close reading and in analysis and in being able to contextualize things, being able to determine what the state of a field is both very broadly and within its little academic subcultures is going to be really important in helping you determine how you're going to frame your skill sets on the cover letter. I highlighted my ability to organize events, to communicate with non-academic organizations, and also to be able to teach within the academic framework. And as I mentioned, this comes through a lot of my volunteering and internship experience. The way that I emphasized these was by just at the very top of my cover letter, I replaced the section, specifically for this postdoc, right? I replaced the section on what my dissertation was about, even though I deeply love it, with the things that I thought made me stand out for this particular skill set that they were looking for. And so that meant that I had about 3 or 4 sentences that just quickly covered my administrative work, which I knew was going to be important as the assistant director for the New Commons Project, and also my work with organizations outside of the university, as well as a note on my teaching and my ability to emphasize to students that their work inside the classroom also had meaning and impact beyond it. I had to think a little bit creatively with this because my teaching never had digital humanities or public humanities components to it. But I was able to make the case that that what is valuable within the public humanities is always something that had been really crucial to my pedagogy. That I had always asked students to think about what role literature, literary analysis, the kind of critical thinking we were doing in our classrooms was going to play within their specific careers, regardless of whether their focuses were in the humanities or in STEM fields. Here, there was very much this investment in trying to acknowledge that university and public are not like binary opposites. That the university is very much a part of the public. Instead of shying away from my volunteer work, helping Latinx high school students apply for universities, instead of, you know, leaving that out of my CV as something that might seem like I was being distracted, right, by my social engagement, I was able to really highlight that and be like, look, I've had an investment in this for years. I'm not just saying this for the purposes of a cover letter, right? My preparation for the interview was really informed by just poring over their website because they have such a strong online presence, with the New Commons Project really sort of embarking on public and digital humanities. It was very easy for me to familiarize myself in depth with all of the work that they had done so far. And I mean, it goes without saying, but doing that is really important so that in the interview, you can position yourself as somebody who's basically already there, as someone who's like, yes, of course, I know the work that you've been doing, I'm very excited about, and these are my ideas for what we're gonna do in the future. And in fact, it draws on this previous work, right? It can speak to this since we already have the same audience in mind. But for this position, I wanted it to be perfect. And because it was such a strange new genre to me, I wanted as much feedback as possible. On the one hand, we're really encouraged to connect with our cohorts and support each other. But at the same time, there are sometimes warnings that faculty will give us about, you know, if it's just graduate students leading graduate students, we might lead each other the wrong way. So I feel like there's sometimes a little bit of anxiety about counting on your your peers that way when you're on the job market. However, for something like this, especially, I knew that some of my audience was going to be students and some of them were going to be community members. And so inviting my friends to join me, knowing that their backgrounds come from like 20th century Cuban history studies and like analysis of like Colombian films, analysis of like Arabic literature, right? Just having this variety in my group and trusting them as teachers, since I have seen many of them give talks or teach their classrooms. I knew that they were going to be in a really good position to give me feedback. And so I started off by creating that like strong, harsh external deadline, and then knowing that I didn't want to seem silly or to seem frivolous in front of the higher ups at my university. And so that forced me to create a sort of a soft opening for my event, just surrounded by friends who I knew would support me.